Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I am coming to you with the review for Family or Fiancé. This is season. Don't start me the lion. I think it's season 4, episode 2, but I could be wrong. I will have it right in the description bar if I haven't said it already. I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing well, y'all. I'm tired. It's late, but I wanted to get this done. I didn't want to get up in the morning and do it. I wanted to do it while the episode was fresh on my mind. I did take some notes, but not heavily. So, I got to do it while it's kind of fresh on the brain because, my brain ain't what it used to be, y'all. But I want to jump right in with the couple, Sonia and Michael. They met 3 years ago, have been engaged for about a year now, and they are very much in love. A few issues, though. One of the issues is surrounding communication. Dr. Tracy seems to think they don't really have a problem communicating. It's just that one person's communicating and the other person doesn't like what's being said in said communication, which was funny. They also talk about some of the issues they're having surrounding just the combination of their family, mainly the daughter, Janiyah. Janiah's mom died when she was 12 years old, and Michael has been her solo parent during that time, and they haven't necessarily had the best relationship. So there's also an issue with that and wanting to get that together. Another issue they're having, we come to find, is financial. Now, initially when they were talking, I wasn't reading that it was a money issue, but the more that Sonia began to talk with Dr. Tracy, the more I was like, okay, he's not making enough for her. Even when she came into the house and she was like, we're manifesting this right now. Like, this is kind of home I want. And Michael was giving her the side eye. I was like, okay. So let's talk about their careers first. Michael is an HVAC technician. He also has a small business on the side. Sonia has 2 businesses, some kind of spa, I heard her say, and also a bridal business as well. And she works very hard at both of these businesses. So Dr. Tracy is like, okay, so you have 2 businesses that you own. You're doing a lot of work, I presume. You're putting in a lot of hours, and she agrees that she is. So she would like to have Michael take some things off her plate. Now, when she first said that, she doesn't automatically say money. So that's why you're kind of trying to read between the lines with both of them. But you eventually come to see is money she's talking about mostly, but also just things in the home. If I'm working late hours and I'm coming home and the house is a mess, like, these are things I don't want to see, right? Michael speaks like a man who would like to do better, but right now this is just where he's at. That's what it sounded like at first. And in the beginning, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I was looking at him like, oh, okay, he just needs to maybe work for a different company and he could make more, or maybe if he could switch around and do some different hours. I'm trying to think in my mind like, oh, it's probably not that bad. It's just a matter of she has a business and he has like a regular company job, and it's a disparity in wages, and maybe he could just it's very simple in my mind. Like, it's not, child, it wasn't what I was thinking, okay? Because Michael is very capable actually of doing better financially, but I wasn't reading that right off. Sonia points out that sometimes it feels like she believes in him way more than he believes in himself, and Tracy said when these type of things come up, when you're looking at a man and we start talking about, finances, that starts to play into our ability and our willingness to respect a person for what they do. And when a family sees something like that, it sets off alerts, it sets off red flags in somebody's, like, when you start to see these things, there's like, is there a respect for this person, especially when it comes to a man, right? And she states that, especially when it comes to a man, she says it verbatim. So Sonia understands that, and she says that the task is going to be for her to create a budget. And I've seen this on Family or Fiancé before. I think it's a very good thing to do, especially when you're talking money. And then she's going to create a budget with his family, and he's going to play 20 questions with her family. So, same type of vibes, right? So let's see who's coming from the different families. Lord have mercy. I wanted somebody to tell the daddy to to pull the pants down or pull the socks up, one or the other. But who's coming from the families? Jordan is coming. That is her best friend. Her father is coming, and her mother is also coming. Now, who's coming from his side is his daughter, his mother, as well as his grandmother. What are the different issues everybody's having? Okay, well, we find out as everybody's on the way. We also discuss it more once everybody gets face to face. So I'm going to just kind of summarize everybody's issue from the car to the couch to moving into the questions. So Jordan feels like they are unequally yoked at this time. He's concerned that his friend may be making a rush decision, and that maybe they want two different things out of life. Jordan would be correct. As far as her mom, she is concerned about how much her daughter works, and she states that she would like to see something different with that. She would like to see Michael step up a little bit more so that her daughter can work less, like get a little bit more support there. The daddy feels very similar to the mother. I would just like to see my daughter working less. So that was their feelings in a nutshell. All right, now Janiyah, the daughter, feels like you guys just need to work on your communication and figure out why you all are bumping heads so much. The mother says that she would just like to see Michael step up a little bit more. She says that I don't know if it was the mom or the grandma that said that Sonia can be a little overbearing, but she does feel like Michael needs to step it up just a little bit more. The grandmother, who at first I thought was on the team, I thought she was on Sonia's side. I actually do think she's the one that called Sonia a little overbearing, but the grandma is actually an op. And I'm going to explain why I think that in just a moment. Because you can seem to look at the grandma one way, but she's not that. I don't agree that she's that. But she says to Michael, my main concern is finances. I want to see you step up and do a little bit more and be a little bit more responsible. And then she kind of looks at him as like, because, we know that you don't really make a lot of money. You don't really make all that much. And at first I was thinking to myself, like, is she team Sonia? Is she saying this because she wants to remind everybody, like, honey, my grandson ain't making the big bucks? But you would think it was that way. But I began to see the grandmother as the show went on as someone who was trying to make Michael look as unfavorable as she could because she really doesn't want them to get married. So I felt like that little thing she did in the beginning when she kind of was like, because you really don't make that much money. I thought it was just one of them grandma things like, oh, child, I was just being honest. I wasn't trying to hurt nobody. You know how when you get old, you just say whatever. But I think she wanted him to look bad. Do y'all see where I'm coming from with that? So I want to start with the whole budgeting situation, right? So Sonia meets with the family. She writes out the budget. She writes out who contributes what versus what Michael's responsibilities are. All in all, her part of the budget amounted to about $36.50 or somewhere around there. And then Michael's contributions amounted to $1,200. She would like for Michael to give an extra $1,000. And he can do that by following a plan that she actually has written out. So it's saying things like getting more clients, working more hours with this, doing that. So she's kind of giving him tools to scale his income to a greater level, right? And so I'm starting to get a picture now. She's the pusher. She's got more of the ambition, entrepreneurial mindset, showing him where he can win. And he's not really trying to do that. But at the time, we don't know why. We see more of this. We figure out more later, right? So they're doing the budget. And Michael's mom agrees. He needs to be doing more. He needs to be contributing more. You got a good plan going. He needs to do it. That's basically her feelings. I don't think the daughter was saying too much. The grandmother, though, again, who I remember what I said earlier about her, the grandmother starts to tell Sonia that she knows Michael needs to do better, and she's really participated in a lot of what his issue is. They've babied him. They've enabled him. His mother admits that she's helped with some of it too. Y'all, they paying this grown-ass man's car insurance. Now, my mama was paying my car insurance not too long ago. I think we just stopped back in 2021. But that's different. I gave my mama money on my car insurance, okay? And I had a different situation going on, all right? Never y'all mind. But my point is, they're paying it, and Sonia didn't know anything about it. Like, she mentioned his car insurance, and the mama is just like, well, reason you don't know it ain't came up because we pay it. So that's not even a bill that he has to be responsible for, right? All right, so the grandma says that she's enabled him in a lot of ways. He'll call and say, Grandma, can I have some money? Again, Sonia's none the wiser about this. And remember, I said that I think the grandmother does not want Michael to look good to Sonia. I don't think she wants him to marry Sonia or anybody else for that matter, because that's her baby. So she's talking about how she's loaned out close to $7,000 and she hasn't received any of it back. Okay. Again, when you're watching it, you're thinking that the grandma is on Sonia's side. Like, yeah, girl, he's borrowing money from me. He doing this, he doing that. Keep this in mind, because this is going to go a little further. But she does admit to enabling him. And it brought up a lot of things that I talk about, like with friends and family and just people within the, our, in-house, the Black community. We've had conversations, just some of my friends have been divorced, and we often talk about the enabling that goes on in some of these households, with some of the young boys, and then they grow up to be men, and then they're trying to be husbands, but they've watched their moms do a lot of things within the home, married or not, because I know some people think it's just when you're single. No, I've seen men come from two-parent homes, and they're used to their mom running the show, running the finances, running how the house goes, working two jobs, coming home, cooking, cleaning, doing all of the things. And so they're looking at their wife like, well, my mom did these things, and my dad, he got to relax when he came home. So I don't really know what you expect out of me. Seems like in Michael's case, though, he was raised mostly by the women in his life. And so there's just been a level of, kind of baby boyish behavior going on. And it's not going to produce a good husband. And I want all of us collectively to think about that as we're raising children. Nobody's saying that you got to rule with an iron fist and you got to beat them and, make them strong. Nobody's saying that. But, you do have to give children levels of responsibility from childhood to being teens. And then it helps them level out and be more responsible as an adult. You build them up into these things. You don't just continue to give, because then they never learn boundaries, and then they never learn the concept of being an adult and being responsible. And that's where Michael is with his. And so they've participated in it. But, at some point as an adult, you have to realize the error of your ways. You have to realize maybe what you did or didn't receive, whether it was too much spoiling or not enough nurturing. And then you have to work on making those corrections yourself. And I think that's what Michael is fighting against. He realizes there's an issue, but he's not prepared to do anything to fix it. I didn't really take a whole lot of notes on Michael's interaction with Sonia's family because there's not much to talk about. It was a very vague conversation. Shout out to Jordan. He was trying to get to the nitty gritty, but there was no nit and no grit. Michael was not going. What he said a lot of was he knows he needs to do better. He knows he needs to be more supportive. He knows he needs to be there for Sonia more. He knows he could step it up in these ways. It was a lot of, oh yeah, I know, I understand, but this is just where we're at right now. But in the future, I could do this, and this. And the mom Jordan is the most vocal in expressing his concern. What does that look like, though? Like you're saying, you can do more. What does that look like in terms of doing more? Like, what is your plan? And this mug says he knows that he needs to get off the game. Okay. So immediately I'm clocking like, all right, now I already know I have been through being with a gamer. It wasn't a lengthy relationship, but I can tell you that had it have been a longer relationship, I don't think we would have made it because and we didn't break up because of the game, but I have learned that a game is very, very, low effort, but high reward. And when you're dealing with grown men who play video games, it can be very distracting. It can take them off their path or purpose. It can cause them not to have a lot of ambition. And this is not every man. So if you just come, you blow off steam, you play games, I'm not talking to you. Don't put that shoe on if it don't fit. I'm talking about the ones who have a responsibility to be doing something. They're actively not doing it, but they can commit and devote time to the game. A game is very low effort, high reward, meaning you're getting on the game, you getting pats on the back, you getting rewarded. I remember an ex of mine telling me like, oh, it feels good, to get the validation, your bros are on the game, you in community, all of that. But that is a virtual reality world where you're getting rewarded for doing little to nothing. The real world doesn't really operate that way. You have to go to work, you have to pay your bills, you have to be a responsible adult, you have to take care of your health, you have to take care of your children. On the game, you get to, have sex with prostitutes, or if you're playing Madden or, NBA 2K, I don't even know the name of the games no more. You get to dribble the ball, you get to talk SHIT to your home. Why am I spelling? You get to talk shit to your homeboys. You get to do all the things, and then you get to jump off the game and go to bed. Real life is waiting for you on the other side, especially if you have responsibilities. It's not, this is a real world that we're living in, and we have real things that we have to do. So when Michael said that, I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting more of a big picture here. So let's go to the family dinner. Y'all see Jordan's face at this family dinner? That's exactly how I felt. And Sonia's mom as well. So what happens at this family dinner is when I get a better picture of who Michael is. I don't think he's a bad guy. I don't think he's not a nice person. I think he is a person that shuts down when he's hearing things that he doesn't like. And I think he is a person who knows what he needs to do, but for whatever reason does not have the motivation to do it. And that doesn't work for a marriage. Okay. Sonia is, now, do I think Sonia's a little like over? Yeah. Sonia, if I could see somebody classifying her as overbearing, but I understand why she is. Sonia's a pusher. Sonia is the type of woman who, if you would have dated her when she was like 20, she would have pushed you to greatness. She would have been on your team. She would have been 100% behind you, but you guys aren't 19 anymore. You're grown ass men and women, and all of that pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, those days are over. The building, I love building for ages 20 to 30, maybe even 32. But once you get to a certain point in your life, you get tired of always trying to put these basic building blocks together. You want to have something to work with. If we build in a Lego castle, damn it, I want you to already have at least some of the foundation done. You asking me to come in and do the whole thing. And baby, I don't do that, okay? I've never been good at Legos anyway. I should have done another analogy. But you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it feels like you get with people, you're closer to 40 than 30, and they want you to start from ground zero. Like, we're not coming straight out of college with this, right? She would have been perfect for a straight out of college man. But that's not where y'all are, right, Michael? Come along with me, my friend. He's shutting down when people are talking to him. His mom is trying to get some feedback from him. He doesn't have any because he states he's starting to feel attacked at the table. Why? Because Michael comes out his mouth and say, like, for example, like one of the tangible things I could do, I'm spending like 5 hours on a video game. I could lessen that down to 2. His mama was like, 2, how about none? It's my release. It's what I do. It's just like somebody who have a drink. And Jordan said, you're not drinking for 5 hours. So everybody got something to say about him in these video games. Sonia's mama say something. Jordan say something. His mama says something. And Bernard was just like, look, I've been in business pretty much for myself all my life. And I've contracted guys to do the work that you do. It's time to put your big boy pants on. It's time to step up. Everybody sees the work that Sonia is doing and putting in, and it doesn't seem like you are contributing equally to that, not even in household production, because you admit that you cook, you clean, but you don't do it consistently. Y'all, raise your hand for those who've lived alone. I lived alone. Did you not cook and clean for yourself every day? These are things that you have to do even if you're by yourself with no children. So saying that you don't do it consistently is crazy to the rest of us grown adults, Michael. Do you understand? I'm getting too riled up and it's too late at night. I'm going to have to move on. But all in all, he didn't look her daddy in the eye, which is disrespectful. And then he began to shut down at the table. He ain't have nothing to say. He felt attacked. Mr. I could bring it from 5 hours to 2. God. Y'all don't be with no man that play video games all day. I'm telling you, you gonna regret it. He gonna make you think you nagging him, but you are going to regret making that decision. Y'all, I just did a lot of recording and it did not pick up my voice recording. I'm so upset because it was so long. So hopefully I can remember what I said the last time. All right, so they meet up with Dr. Tracy, and they're talking about the dinner, they're talking about the questions, the budget, all of that, right? Michael is emphasizing how he shut down at the family dinner because he did feel attacked and he was very upset about it. Today's a brand new day, so now they are going to actually talk about the budget, specifically this $1,000 that Sonia would like him to contribute, right? Now, we've determined that Sonia said more than once that she will push him, she believes in him, she knows that he can do it. So Dr. Tracy asked Michael, can you contribute the $1,000 that Sonia is asking you to contribute? Like, is that reasonable? Michael said, oh, yeah, it's reasonable. I actually can contribute a lot more than that. I can do more. Baby, listen. I don't know how Sonia took that with a straight face, because hearing somebody say to me that not only can I do it, but I can do more than that, but for whatever reason I haven't, would have really pissed me off. Now, y'all, a lot of people give me the side eye for this, friends, family. I'm a firm believer that if a man wants something, he goes after what he wants. Now, that's a very simple way of looking at it. It sounds a lot like if he wanted to, he would. But if he wanted to, he would. That's more of a simplistic kind of thing. What I'm talking about, look at the actions of a man when he really wants something, even if it's a vice, even if it's something that's not good for him. The way that he will drive to it, think about it, pay money for it, stand outside and wait on it, and all these different things, the way he'll change up his routine for something. He might even move to another state for something. When a man wants something, he usually will put himself in a position to get it, or he will do everything within his reason to get it. Michael has the space and the availability to make more money, but for whatever reason, he has it. Now, the reason why I say it's not just cut and dry, because there's other things added to it. It's not just about them wanting you. They also have to have a respect level for you. They also have to value you. And a lot of women take that to mean like, what do you mean I'm not valuable? I didn't say you weren't valuable. I said he has to value you. Some men can't even begin to value you because they don't even value themselves. And I think Michael has a little bit of that in him. I don't think it has so much to do with, I think he has a lot of holes in himself as a man. Like he doesn't feel confident in his ability to run his own life. And I'm going to explain why I think that later. So if you don't have a lot of value in yourself, self-value, it's hard for you to value someone else, right? So that doesn't have necessarily anything to do with you as a woman, right? Don't assign it to yourself. Don't do it. It's a bad thing to do, and it's a hole that you have to dig yourself out of, right? But in my dealings with men, being with men, dating different types of men from different walks of life, I've just come to find that if they really want something, they go for that thing. You know, as much is within their power to do, they go for that thing. And I had to learn that it didn't have anything to do with me specifically. It's just that some men just want, they just want different things for whatever reason. They also have to have a certain respect level for you. Now, when people hear respect, they automatically think, oh, you know, if you ain't wearing this, if you talking like this, if you doing, they usually go to very superficial things. In this case, I think it's hard for Michael to have the respect for Sonia that he needs to have for his woman, because Sonia has allowed so much within this relationship. You're telling me you're not going to continue to take this, take that. You're going to have to do more, but you're allowing me to do less for a very long time. You're telling me that you would like me to step up and handle things within the household, you know, give you a break, give you some rest. But it seems like the consequences of not doing these things is just you fussing. So I don't have a high level of respect for your words because you don't follow through on them. And so that's a lot of times what happens as well. A man can want you and still not have a high level of respect for you because there's no consequences or barely even any conversation other than you going off on him when he doesn't do what you ask him to do. Right? And so that's the part that, you know, we do have to own as well. But Michael got a lot more to own. Okay, I'm not blaming Sonia. I'm not blaming her. I'm just saying it's hard for her to look at him and say, you gonna have to respect what I'm telling you. Like, I need you to have some respect for me when I'm not fulfilling the respect role for myself. Because baby, I would have get out. Okay, until you can get it done, you take your 1,200 to another household. I can do bad all by myself now. You got me effed up, right? So anyway, I don't want to. I'm already talking on that too long, so I'll move on. But I'll just say it would have really upset me to know that you can do better. I'm begging you to do better, and you haven't done it, but you can. Not only can you do that, but you can do more. That's upsetting. At some point in the conversation, Sonia begins to cry. And Dr. Tracy says something. She says, a lot of times when we begin to cry tears, it's because we begin to realize what we may have to do. And we're already experiencing the grief of that decision. Sonia says she's had to learn you can't push people to be who you want them to be. And I feel like Sonia, this is not a new thing for her. Like she does this probably with multiple people in her life. I think her intentions are good. I think that she would be a great helpmate, if they was in their 20s. Right, and just starting from the bottom. But they're here where they are, and you can't make people be who you want them to be, baby. I know it hurts. And when people aren't doing what you need them to be doing in your life, you have to set boundaries, and you have to say, maybe this is not something we need to be doing together. And that's a very hard thing to do. But again, like I said about that respect, you got to respect yourself first and foremost before anybody else. Now, Michael got a smidge of my respect back in this conversation. Actually, he got a lot of my respect back in the conversation he had with his daughter. Again, I don't think Michael's a bad person. I just think he's babyish. He's babyfied. He needs to grow up. So he's out having a conversation with his daughter and the therapist. And what they're able to come to is that they've never really had the relationship they needed to have because she just doesn't come to him. She hasn't felt comfortable. He's never really given her that whole father-daughter thing, that vibe. Michael admits that he just kind of raised her, He didn't really do any grief counseling with her. He thanks God for the support that the mom and grandma gave. And I have a feeling that they may have done more with her than Michael possibly, because he admits he was living a totally different lifestyle before Janiyah came to him, which also makes me wonder, how often was he seeing her prior to the mother dying? She says that her and her mom are really close. Her and her dad had never been that close, and she was mad that she had to even go with him. When she talked about how her mom died, y'all, that was so sad. The fact that she was there, the fact that the ambulance was 911 was trying to get her to get her mom in position. She had an asthma attack and she needed a certain kind of medicine. And, the daughter didn't really know what she was doing as far as getting it to her and giving her CPR. And she blames herself. And Michael comforted her. And I was really happy to see that, especially with the father we saw last week, child. I was happy to see he comforted her. She says it felt good to be able to talk to him and open up to him. He felt good about it too. And he asked her, what do you want to do more of? What would help? Picking you up, us going on vacation together. And she was like, I don't really know if I want to do that, but I would like to talk to you more and come to you more. He also stated at the beginning of the conversation that she's in a relationship now and she doesn't really come home as much as she used to. And he feels like the love that he should have gave her, she's getting inside of this relationship, and that makes him sad. And he does want to repair it. He does want a relationship with her. He even tells Dr. Tracy, it broke my heart, even to hear Sonia say that this might be done. I actually skipped that part. It's in between him doing this with his daughter, he makes a statement like he wants to make it right with Sonia because he feels like he's breaking two women that he loves. He's breaking both of their hearts. And Dr. Tracy says to him, both of these women are asking you for the same thing, and that's to take on adult responsibility of your life. Both of your one's asking for partnership, the other's asking for a father. Both are asking for an adult. That's what's going on here. And so, he in between, he's talking about how he wants to not only repair it with his daughter, but just repair it with Sonia. He cannot lose Sonia. And so he's talking good. He's talking good. But I was really glad him and his daughter got to have this conversation. And I was so happy when he asked her, what do you want to do to fix it? What would make it better for you? Because a lot of times, parents have an idea of improving your relationship and they got this checklist that they're running down, but they never stop to ask you, what would make you comfortable? So I'm really glad he asked her. Later, we see Michael going to tell Sonia that he is going to make changes. she's going to get a totally different man and they are going to improve their relationship. Blase, 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 blase. All right. So this is good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling confident. But if I know, what I think I know, what I know, you always got to be looking with your good eye, with your cat eye. So they are about to have the blessing ceremony. They do one last session with Dr. Tracy where he says he's going to change and, video games got to stop and business going to get scaled, all of that, right? Because I don't want to lose my woman. So they get back for the blessing ceremony. And who gives the blessings? Everybody gives their blessing. Everybody, mom, grandma on one side, mom, dad on the other side, friend, daughter, everybody gives their blessing, right? Y'all, why do we find out that the grandma actually wasn't planning on giving her blessing? Now, mind you, okay, I forgot to mention this too. Mind you, Michael had already told Sonia that if he don't get his grandma's blessing, that's really going to ultimately play into his decision as to whether or not he was going to get married if he didn't get his grandma's blessing, right? And I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, you marry your grandma then. Why don't you do that? Especially since you told us at the table, you doing good for you. You doing good. I'm doing good for me. I'm doing good for myself. But you want to get married, though. You put the ring on my finger and said you wanted to do life with me, but you talking about you can do okay by yourself. You doing good for you. And then you looking at me, talking to me, saying you ain't gonna get married if your grandma don't approve of your decision. She's always approved of my decisions. Like, you don't understand, Sonia. She's always been there for me. And like, I followed her path and what she wants me to do. And that's done well for me. Well, then marry her then. Cause that's what it sounds like she won't anyway. Let me not go off on nobody grandma because sometimes they be watching these reviews. So the camera showed him writing down what he wanted his grandma to say. And she did, because she said that she wasn't going to give her blessing. Right. We also see a conversation in the kitchen prior to this blessing ceremony about how, I called and I asked y'all for the loan. Like, why not call family? Why go to somebody else? Why go to a creditor when you can go to family? And Kim said, because the creditor going to be on your ass about their money. Because have you paid your grandma back? And the grandma going to say it's pending. Now, you was big and bad in front of Sonia talking about how you ain't got none of that money back. And you talking like he need to pay you back. But in front of him, it's all good. It's pending. This lady's an op. Michael's too worried about her opinion. She has enabled a lot of his behavior. Oh gosh, this is just a mess, right? So finally, at the end, they show the updates, and I kind of knew what the updates were going to be, but I was hoping I was wrong. But the updates are he's still playing video games, but he has increased and scaled his business up. So that part is good. Him and Janiyah are still not speaking. She hasn't been answering his phone calls, and they've pushed their wedding date apart. They pushed their wedding date so that they could work on themselves individually. I don't think she needs to marry him. I don't think she needs to marry him. Again, she hasn't said, other than pushing the wedding date back, which is just fine if he's getting benefits of a wife anyway. I just don't, there's no consequence to the behavior. You're showing that you're going to be there. So I just don't think it's working the way she thinks it is. As far as Janiyah, kids are tricky. You think everything is healed and everything is ready. This isn't like a romantic relationship where you guys can kiss and make up. These are your children. And sometimes, a kiss and hug, and that just doesn't heal the wound that is deep within. So Janiyah seemed to be a very numb young lady. I don't know what it's going to take for her to really address all the range of her emotions. I don't think it's too late for them, but I do believe that he may have to wait on her to want to come to him. But that doesn't mean that you should keep reaching out. It's nice to know that your parent does want to repair the relationship. And I think an apology might help her as well. But start slow, maybe send some text messages. I hope they can get it together. I do. But as far as these two, I don't think they should get married. I think they have two different goals for what the future looks like for them. I think he likes having her around, likes her support, likes her help, likes her assistance. She's easy on the eyes. She's ambitious, all of those things. I think she likes him too, and she enjoys him. However, when it comes to her life plan and what she wants as far as stability, I don't think he'll ever be on that page. And like Dr. Tracy said, if nothing changes today, because that's what you got to ask yourself. If nothing changes, will this relationship be okay with you? And maybe it will, because she's still around. So you guys let me know what you thought about the episode. Like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you for the next one. Bye.